Good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency George Grong, the former president of Bolivia, the Right Honorable Musa Mara, former Prime Minister of Mali, the organizers of the Kigali Dialogue, President Samir Saran of the Observer Research Foundation, the Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Governance Board, Dr. Austa Kaitesi, ministers and former ministers here present, all protocol observed. Dear ladies and gentlemen, may I start by giving my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to both the organizers and the attendees of this Kigali Global Dialogue. I'm especially heartened to see so many in attendance at this critical conference. The idea of dialogue is important to us in this day and age. Dialogue allows us to discuss our differences, share what binds us in common, and together find solutions to the problems and challenges that all our nations and communities face. My country, Zimbabwe, like many countries across our continent, face similar challenges as we are well past the days of independence and well into the days of democracy, sovereignty, and freedom. Many of these challenges confront our younger citizens who are but mere children in grades and high school, young people in university facing an uncertain job market, and young families working to provide the best they can for their own children and their communities. As I'm here today to speak to you about investing in young voices, I think it is imperative to share with you that I come here not just as a First Lady of my country, but also as a wife, a mother, and grandmother. An investment in young voices is an investment in our future, an investment into prosperity, security, and stability. I also find it important to share with you that while I will certainly discuss what we are doing to invest in young voices, I found out that we must focus first on helping our young people find their voice. It is only after we give our youth the strength and self-esteem that comes with establishing their own voice that we can then begin to invest in those voices. While the experiences I will share with you today is what I have personally been involved with in Zimbabwe, I firmly believe they can stand as examples for all of Africa's young generation. There are so many places one can look when wanting to invest in young voices. None is more important than education. By ensuring that young people, especially those in underprivileged communities, have the opportunity to learn and receive quality education, we immediately give them a strong and powerful voice for their own future. Even before I was First Lady, when I was a legislator in Parliament, I started a scholarship program for young people, especially in the poorer areas of my country, investing in the future of both boys and girls. I wanted to make sure girls had the same opportunities as boys. This was intended to avoid child marriages. Often families in underprivileged communities married off their daughters at school-going age, and in doing so, deprived these young girls of their education. Worse still, it exposed these young girls to health challenges and too much abuse. The scholarship program I developed through my Angel of Hope Foundation seeks to stop this problem by offering these young girls the ability to get a solid education and even attend the most prominent educational institutions in my country, Zimbabwe. Thanks to the program, we are having a meaningful effect of eliminating child marriages. It also has the impact of taking children who are living and working on the streets away from such a hopeless existence. We place them in schools and vocational training centers where they can thrive and find their own voice. Scholarships for education in schools is not the only way we are helping our young people in Zimbabwe to find their voices. For some of our young people, especially those just beyond school-going age, we are focusing on training our young people in ways that economically empower them. In my capacity as First Lady, I have launched across all the provinces in Zimbabwe a skills development program that aims to give certificate accreditation to young adults in a broad range of courses. We are teaching these young adults, especially women and girls, how to produce detergents, liquid soap, perfumes, bars of soap, and petroleum jelly. And we all know that these are a necessity in a home. We are teaching them skills in dressmaking, bedding, interior decoration, baking, cake making, carpentry, and cosmetology. We are even giving them training in information communications technology, as well as cell phone and computer repairs. My aim is simple. By ensuring all young people, especially the most marginalized and disadvantaged, to unlock their potential through skills training in self-sustainable industries. We are providing economic empowerment to men and women that will prove to be economically prosperous for them and their families. I believe this is something needed throughout our continent, Africa. Another area I am focusing on as First Lady is leveraging Zimbabwe's rich agricultural economy into opportunity for women and girls. In many rural areas and agricultural, small businesses or entrepreneurial training is also of little use. But Zimbabwe has large amounts of agricultural land. This area has been dominated by men, and under my leadership, we have started the Agric for She project, where farming is aimed at women and girls only. And this, I have introduced the growing of traditional grains that we are talking of today. The Agric for She program yields many benefits, and not just to young women, but by empowering young women to take part in Zimbabwe's agricultural sector. We are helping propel forward the aspirations of food security and nutrition under the Vision 2030 plan, enunciated by the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Auxillia Mnangagwa. Under the Agric for She program, tens of thousands of women have been given seed maize, sunflower seed, horticultural seeds, chemicals, and fertilizers. We are encouraging young women in agricultural areas to become real partners in the industry across our country. These women are transforming their way of life by not just becoming farmers, but also becoming income earners for their households. And by becoming an income earner, these women are finding their own voice in their homes and their communities. But we are not limiting the program to just growing crops. We are also training young women in livestock production. The program of Agric for She is also branched out into livestock for she, poultry for she, goats for she, pigs for she, to name a few. The Goats for She program alone distributed over 600,000 she-goats and 35,000 he-goats. Our purpose to give women the ability to partake in the economic benefits of livestock rearing and becoming contributors to their household. Alongside the training, we also provide knowledge in bookkeeping, marketing, and basic economics. So these young farmers are able to manage what amounts to their own small businesses. There are other benefits coming with these programs as well. Now, these families have the economic resources to educate their children. When many of these young women become income earners, we see a better balance in their home lives, the strengthening of their relationships with their husbands, spouses, and a decrease in abuse and divorce. My dear delegates, as we look into investing in young women voices, we must take an approach that meets the individual needs of young people in our own countries. Some young people need a pathway to a solid education. Others may need skills to help them start their own small businesses. Then there are some that need to be lifted as equals in their homes and share in the economic prosperity of the household. I have tried to approach the challenges in Zimbabwe through the lens of a mother and a grandmother. I want for every young person in Zimbabwe what I want for my own children and grandchildren. First, to find self-esteem and self-respect within themselves. This way come from going to school, or it may come from raising livestock, but whatever the source, self-esteem and self-respect are the foundations of having a strong voice. Next, I want every young person in Zimbabwe to feel there's a path to prosperity and a path to realizing their own dreams. By giving young people the skills and education necessary, we put them on this path of success. Finally, I want young people to grow up and find real partners, to start a home partnerships based on mutual respect and admiration. I'm taking the training of cultural background to boys and girls, where I am imparting knowledge on how to behave, how to carry oneself, respect, how one dresses, and how to carry out household chores. This leads to good courtship, which takes young couples to solid homes for the next generation, and who will continue to contribute to their own families, their own communities, and their countries, respectively. This is a model that can be replicated in every country across the continent. I came here to speak about the investment in young voices. These investments go well beyond the individual. These investments are not just building up young people, but building a prosperous future for all of us. It is my sincerest hope that as part of these dialogues in Kigali, many of you can take from our example in Zimbabwe and apply the lessons learned to your countries. Together, through dialogue, we can build a prosperous future for our entire continent. I thank you.